Hey everyone. I just came home from watching Winter's Bone, and just by chance, sort of ended up watching Narnia: Voyage of the Dawn Treader as well. Um, I've got a lot to say about both these movies, but I think the movie I can speak the best about as of recording this is probably Winter's Bone, because I'm going to have to check some things on Narnia I want to discuss. I need to check my facts on what happens further on in the rest of the books before I start talking about that. So anyway, I saw Narnia first, then Winter's Bone, which I guess I would have wanted it to do the exact opposite way, because it would have been a lot easier to go from this sad, depressing story about the American South to this big, high-flying adventure movie. But what are you going to do? The schedules are the way they are. So yeah. Winter's Bone. I've heard a lot of good things about this movie. The movie's already out on Blu-ray and DVD in the United States. It's coming out in England on Blu-ray and DVD in less than a month. So I've already got that ordered. So I wasn't even sure I was going to go see this in the theater, but I decided that because it was a movie that I heard was sort of tough to watch, that I should probably try to see it in the theater, because that's where, where the focus is. At home, you can always escape when you're watching a really hard movie. You can't really do that when you're in the theater. You have to sit it out. Even the bad parts, you really just have to sit there and focus on the screen, or at least look away, but you're in that position. You're with the character. At home, you can always escape. I've always got my laptop in front of me, and I usually try to shut it. But in movies like this, I usually end up at least once in a while pausing and going to the bathroom, pausing, going out to get a snack, something like that. I did not do that here. Speaking of snacks, two girls next to me, one who actually occupied my seat at first. Yeah, for you Americans out there, Sweden isn't like America where you just come to the theater and try to get the best spot you can get. You actually have numbered seats on your tickets. Anyway, this girl's in my seat, and I eventually get my seat back. But anyway, she's sitting in the theater eating McDonald's. Thankfully, she'd eaten her food, finish it before the movie started, but still. I am sort of against popcorn, and don't get me started on the whole politics about how movie theaters wouldn't survive without popcorn and snacks. I know that much. I still don't like popcorn. I don't like eating at the theater. I take a drink with me and maybe some snacks, but I usually finish before the movie even starts, halfway through the previews, because that's just the way I roll. I don't eat while I'm watching a movie. Why should I watch a movie and eat at the same time? Anyway. So she's eating McDonald's. I'm like, that's sort of over the line. Bringing actual food. I know there are parts of the world where you do that. I know, like in Germany, that you can get beer in the theater. I think you could do that in England when I lived there. You could get all sorts of ice cream, you could get bigger snacks and beer and shit like that. But McDonald's, really? That's a little too far. And also, this kid's fucking 14. This movie had a 15-year limit. How could this kid get in here? I mean, she didn't look she was 15. Maybe she was 15, but still. 15? Why are you watching this movie? This movie, just because you're 15, does not mean you're supposed to be watching this film. But anyway, this small theater was packed, which is pretty good, because, it's a small opening. They haven't tried to get it out there a whole lot. It's late in the movie's lifespan in theater, and, well, I didn't think a lot of people would want to go see it. But the good thing about seeing a movie like this is that people were quiet, respectful, and I think everyone in the theater was sort of in the same mindset, ready for what was going to happen. Overall, a pretty good movie experience, both movies. And what to say about Winter's Bone? This movie about the Deep South, horrible, horrible Deep South, these areas that you exist, especially after seeing the movie, but you don't want to know they exist. Where everything is dirty, rusty, bloody, oily, everything's basically falling apart, and it becomes clear after like less than 5 minutes into this movie that everyone is related to everyone somehow. We meet our main character, Ree Dolly, played by Jennifer Lawrence, who is amazing. I've been hearing nothing but good, like nothing but praise for her performance, and it is well deserved because she lives the part. She is Ree Dolly. I usually note acting. It's easier to spot bad actors than it is to spot exceptionally good actors. And I think there's one scene in this movie. By the way, I am going to spoil this movie, at least slightly. So, god damn it. There's this scene in the movie. As I said, I'm going to spoil this for you, so at least mildly. I'm not going to give away the ending, but I will at least talk about the tone. And there's one scene, like the whole movie's premise is that Ree Dolly's father, this guy named Jessup Dolly, who interestingly we only see one shot of, and it's an old photograph, like really like short shot. It's a very old photograph, so it's not like he looks now or anything. We never see him otherwise. We see one shot of him, and that's that old photograph. Other than that, we only hear people talk about him, from his brother, from like the other relatives. Anyway, this character Ree Dolly is out looking for her father, who is a meth cooker. He's been in and out of jail. He is he's like not really an active part of the family. He cooks meth, and the whole plot of the movie is that he, to pay his bail, has pawned his family's pawned the family home and their land, or he's pawned their house. And unless he shows to his hearing, his court date, the government's going to take his house. And so this whole thing is just about her finding her father so that they can keep their house. Just somehow desperately trying to find her father. And even though everyone's related to everyone is really, really unpleasant. Like, when she asks people for help, she gets nothing from anyone. Like, even his closest relatives, she never gets anything from. No one's willing to help her. And you just feel so bad for this poor kid just trying to get her father home so that they don't lose their house. And it really, evolves from there, and eventually it just falls apart. And anyway, there's this one scene in the movie, toward when she realizes that if her father's even still alive, she gets to a point where she realizes maybe my dad's dead, maybe that's why I can't find him, and people are definitely alluding to the fact that he might be dead, because obviously everyone in this fucking hellhole of a town knows more than they're saying. But anyway, so she's sitting with her mom, who's basically catatonic. That's the other thing. Her mother has had some sort of psychological break. She's just catatonic. She just sits around and does nothing. And it's, again, she's sitting there, and this is the best performance, in the movie, I think. Or, the thing at least that epitomizes it, shows why she's so good. She's just sitting out with her mother in this little, patch of forest. They have this land around their ugly, ugly house. But they're sitting out there, and she's just looking up at her mother, who is sitting there and just staring out into nothingness, and she just says, "Mom, I need your help, but just this one time." And just, "Mom, look at me." And it's the way she looks at her mother when she's just begging for her mother to look at her. Because the whole thing is that someone said that you should sell your land. Just do what you can for yourself. Give your kids to the neighbors, to your other relatives. Get rid of the kids. Dump your mom and take the money you can get for the land and leave. And she is just torn up because she doesn't want to do that. She has nothing to give. She has nothing but this family. She doesn't know what she's going to do, and all she wants is her mother's, what any 17-year-old kid would want. She wants her mother's guidance. And it's the way Jennifer Lawrence does this performance, the way her eyes dart back and forth, just slightly as she, scans her mother for any sign that her mother's even hearing what she's saying. The mother's off camera, so we're not seeing her. We're just seeing we're cutting between the two, and we're just seeing how Jennifer Lawrence is looking at her mother. Her eyes are just darting slightly between, like, there, and then she's just looking over at something to the left of the screen, and it is beautiful. It's so well done, and Jennifer Lawrence, you really know, you believe this character's desperation. She's not just a 17-year-old pretending to have it hard like so many other actresses that would be put in this kind of situation in movies. No, she is in this situation. Her life is fucked up beyond all repair, and yeah, it's just terrible. I don't really want to tell you too much more about the plot, because I think that everyone should see this movie. I don't want to spoil it too much, because, well, it's not all hell. There are glimpses of hope in this film. So it's not just, oh my god, this movie's depressingly hopeless. No, there are spots of happiness and spots of hope for these characters. But they're few and far between. But it's a difficult movie to sit through, but it's also a movie that you really should sit through if you just want to, especially if you're one of those people that claims that the United States is the best country in the world, you should definitely see this movie, because, tell me, I mean, you could make the argument that this is just a work of fiction, and it is, but it's still based in a real place. It's based on real spots in, what is it, Missouri? And like Missouri, Arkansas, like the Arkansas, they talk about the Arkansas border, so they're like in a border state to Arkansas. But anyway, if you look at the way these people live, and if you look the way like the houses look, the way the people look, you know that this movie did not have the budget to build that shit. No, that stuff existed. Like, I want to see this movie and listen to the commentary, because I want to hear how much they put like into actually building sets and how much they just found. Like, she walks around in these like dilapidated like fucking sheds are all over the place. There's at one point where they're at a meth lab that's blown up, and I'm like, did they really like, did they orchestrate that, or did they just find a fucking meth lab and film there? Because it really strikes me as a movie that could very much be the case, where they just filmed what they found and it worked perfectly. So I'm just saying, if you're one of those people that says America is the best country in the world, watch this movie and rethink your fucking opinion, because no country that can claim that be the best country in the world can have this kind of shitty environments in it. Just saying. I don't really have that much more to add about this movie, at least not at this point. As I said, I just got home, the movie's been over for less than an hour, and I really need to, think a little bit. Great movie. Well worth your time and money. Jennifer Lawrence, an actress to keep your eye on, and, well, yeah, another proof of why I will always want to work with film. I'll try to make another blog post about Narnia as soon as I can. I just need to check some facts first. So yeah, talk to you later.